Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Super excited to have Steve Wunker, Managing Director of New Markets Advisors, a global consulting firm focused on innovation. He was responsible for one of the world's first smartphones, pioneered the mobile marketing and commerce industries, and partnered with a longtime colleague from Harvard Business School in building the consulting firm Innosight. He's the author of 3 award-winning business books. He's the co-author of the new book, The Innovative Leader, Step-by-Step Lessons from Top Innovators for You and Your Organization, literally just published. Again, The Innovative Leader, Step-by-Step Lessons from Top Innovators for You and Your Organization. Steve Wunker, welcome to the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
You bet. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. What an impressive background. So coming from a innovative leader himself, I have to dive right in and find out what fascinated you about this topic and why did you decide to develop your career and your professional life to innovation, not just being innovative, but also studying it?
You know, I have worked for over 20 years in innovation, and I've seen again and again that the great stumbling block for innovation is not the idea or even the execution of the idea. It's how organizations behave as they go from idea through to commercialized opportunity. The how of innovation is actually the big challenge, not so much the what of innovation.
Wild. Okay, fantastic. And I know that there's a lot in your book, again, The Innovative Leader. So what does make a leader innovative? What does that definition mean, and how do we apply it to a leader? Where's the connection there?
So look, the most important thing is actually not the leader, it's the organization. They may not be innovative, but if they can make their organization innovative, that's what really counts. So number one, it's can you enable the organization and direct it in the right way to be innovative, even if you're not a creative, innovative genius yourself.
Absolutely. And I know that today's business environment is indeed a hostile place. There's threats from all sorts of startups, investors, disruptive technology, and so on. But there are visionary companies that are dodging these bullets and churning out innovation. And I know you've said in your book that it's not luck. It's not luck that's causing some of these things. So I'm curious, who did you speak with for this book to find out their secrets?
So we believe that innovators are found in all walks of life, not just companies. So we talk to big company CEOs like Satya Nadella at Microsoft, but also entrepreneurs, people who have innovated in a school or church or in government. We really wanted to find the common threads that unite successful innovators, recognizing they may have different styles, but is there a common playbook they follow? And there is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So lots of conversations, and that's what I love about this book, which I even hesitate to call it a book because it's step-by-step lessons from top innovators for you and your organization. So I feel embarrassed even asking this question over here, but what are some of those secrets?
So the most common formula we found actually corresponds to ABC, and it stands for Aspire, Build, Cultivate. Create a crystal clear aspiration for why you're innovating and what's in and out of bounds. When we did a survey of corporate innovators, by far and away, the top reason people cited for innovation struggles in their organization, no matter what the size, is a lack of clear aspirations. So set clear goals. That's number one. B is build. So you have an idea, but how do you get that idea? Are you looking for trends? Do you have external partners? Are you talking with customers and suppliers in a regular sort of way? And then what happens with the idea? The idea is seldom the problem with innovation. It's where does it go from there? How does it actually get built upon and experimented? And critically, how do you kill off the ideas that aren't delivering as they should? And then finally, C is cultivate. How do you cultivate the behaviors, the culture that make sure that it's not all resting on you, but the rest of the organization can carry that innovation ball forward? ABC, that's the common formula we found.
ABC is fantastic. And we know that as you talk to folks in different positions with different titles, there's different strategies that work for, again, different folks. But again, formula, use that term formula, and I think that is very appropriate for a conversation of this kind. In the book, you talk about 4 must-have structures that innovative companies simply cannot do without. Can you share a little bit on that topic?
Sure. So first of all, ensure that you're scanning for trends. Somebody has to be out there going to conferences, having meetings that aren't necessarily sales meetings, but you're looking for what's next, peeking around corners, looking at adjacent industries, asymmetric threats and opportunities. That's number one. Second, have a way for people to be able to knock on your door with potential partnerships. Go out and talk with people in industries adjacent to yours, and find ways that cultivate innovations, not just in your 4 walls, but in an ecosystem of partners. Third, have a way to experiment. Companies are really good at experimenting in the R&D lab. They often don't experiment in customer experience or their internal processes. So find ways to do that. And then finally, fourth, have ways for people to share their experiences inside the company so that you're not learning the same lesson again and again, but you get a lesson, you share it out, and hopefully collectively as an organization, you learn together. Way too few companies actually do that.
Absolutely. Again, learning so much over here from Steve Wunker, Managing Director of New Markets Advisors and the author of The Innovative Leader, Step-by-Step Lessons from Top Innovators for you and your organization. We're going to have to squeeze in a quick break, but remember, get on my website, syklein.com. I always love to hear from our listeners, and be sure to get on your favorite podcast app. Just search for Get Down to Business and subscribe, rate, review, and share. We're going to continue our conversation with Steve when we return in just a moment. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Get Down to Business. We're back on Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship, and continuing my conversation with the author of The Innovative Leader, Step-by-Step Lessons from Top Innovators for You and Your Organization. That's Steve Wunker. The book literally just came out, and really, that title says it all. Step-by-Step Lessons from Top Innovators for You and Your Organization, because that's what we want to do as entrepreneurs, learn from folks that have been there and that have done that. Steve, I know in the process of writing this book with your co-author, Clayton, and I know you talked with a lot of folks that are true innovators. Any specific ones that you want to highlight for us?
Well, there were a lot of them. There were 50, but I'll talk about one whose name is Ron Scheich. And you may not have heard of Ron Scheich, but you've heard of his companies. So way back when he started a cookie company in Boston, and then he realized that people only buy cookies in the afternoon. Everybody was walking by his door. So he created a bakery cafe that he called Au Bon Pain, and he grew that to hundreds of locations. And in the midst of that huge success, he acquired a small company called the St. Louis Bread Company. And he realized, this has a lot more potential than Au Bon Pain. So he sold off his chain, Au Bon Pain, and he doubled down on the St. Louis Bread Company, which he renamed Panera. And he IPO'd Panera, sold it off for $7 billion. And then he started up a bunch of other companies, Tat, Cava, a whole lot of other restaurant themes, success after success. Cava actually recently IPO'd, and it's worth almost $7 billion now, too. He had a formula for how he found these opportunities. Happy to talk about that or some other things if you like.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, that's innovation right there, and so let's learn from it. Please share, Steve.
Sure. So the formula, it's one we use for leaders everywhere. It's called CREATE, and that's an acronym. It stands the C for being connected. So he would go out there and be with customers himself. Yeah, they did market research, but he wanted to be sure that he was personally connected with the marketplace. R, role model. So he asked questions again and again, pushing the envelope. Can we do this? Can we do that? Not just that he would do it, but he wanted his team to do it. Evolving. Look, I just told you how he evolved. He saw an opportunity. He went after it. He did great. But then he saw a bigger one. He moved on. And then he moved on again. A, audacious. Panera does a whole lot of things that other restaurants don't do, like a subscription to coffee. all you can have coffee for a month on one sort of subscription price. T, 360 thinker. They're not just thinking about the product, they're thinking about the business model, the customer experience, what a loyalty club really constitutes. And finally, E, enabled. He made sure that it wasn't just random ideas that occurred to him in the shower, although he got some of those too, but he really enabled the rest of the organization to innovate. So it spells create. That's Ron's formula for success, and we found that really broadly replicated in other success stories too.
Wild. Steve, I really appreciate you inspiring us with those lessons, with the advice that you've shared throughout our conversation. And I know our listeners will want to pick up a copy of this fantastic read, The Innovative Leader, Step-by-Step Lessons from Top Innovators for You and Your Organization. How can people find the book, get in touch with you, and learn more?
So it's for sale wherever books are sold. I'm happy to say that on Amazon, it's rated the #1 new release in the category. We also have a website for the book, innovativeleaderbook.com, and there we actually have 2 surveys that people can take for free and benchmark themselves. One is on how well you rate personally as an innovative leader, and you can assess yourself compared to others. And another is how your organization rates against other organizations. You can take that yourself. You can also have teammates take it and look at how your collective answers do versus other organizations.
Great conversation. Steve Wunker, thank you so much for, again, educating our listeners. Looking forward to having you back on the program real soon. And we've been on the air for over 10 years with all sorts of great conversations, which you can find on my website at syklein.com. And again, on your favorite podcast app, just search for Get Down to Business. But do me a favor, be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share to make it even easier for your colleagues, friends, family to find the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. To success, let's get down to business. We'll talk to you next week.